Hey, everybody, Madeleine here to look at the astrology for September of 2025. And boy, what a dramatic month ahead we have. Business will not be as usual as we have two eclipses. We have other transits too, but I think they're going to be dwarfed by these two big eclipses. We have Mercury moving into the sign of Virgo, which will really sharpen our minds. Will be in its exaltation in the sign of Mercury. And then we have Venus going out of Leo into the sign of Virgo, where it is more in debilitation. Well, I'll go into all 12 signs for these. And then we also have Mars moving into Scorpio. So, but I think those transits are not going to be as felt as loud as the eclipses are. We have the two eclipses. The first one is going to be in the sign of Pisces at 15 degrees 22 on the 7th of September. It is the exact same eclipse that we had on that day, same day, 2006. And then we have a second new moon lunar eclipse. The first one is a full moon solar eclipse. This is going to be a new moon solar, sorry, full moon lunar. This is new moon solar on the 21st of September in the sign of Virgo at 29 degrees. So I'm going to go into all the 12 signs for each of these transits, mostly focusing on the eclipses, of course. Now, let's go ahead and look at the first eclipse. I'm going to go ahead and share the chart. I'm outside by the lake enjoying a lovely day outside. I couldn't be inside. Now, this eclipse looks really nice. I don't know if the one in 2006 had the same blessings. I have to go back and look at it, but this promises to be quite a nice eclipse because Jupiter is ruling Pisces. And the North Node is right there, and Jupiter is trining the nodes. And this is like a very auspicious part of the sky. It's also a very spiritual part of the sky. Um, so when Jupiter is making such a favorable aspect to a lunation, it's basically showing us a higher elevated perspective because Jupiter wants to expand our life, wants us to expand our life into the direction of our Dharma, because when we walk our Dharma, we're serving humanity in the way that we were designed to serve humanity. So Jupiter is blessing this eclipse with clarity of purpose and a reinvigoration of faith in the path. And we're with the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo, we're clearing sort of our soul's debris, our mental debris that blocks us from our soul's knowing. And we're really following some sort of not such a clear path because the North Node and the sign of Pisces is also ruled by Neptune, which happens to be very close and also making a very positive aspect in this eclipse, which also blesses it. But this journey with the North Node in Pisces is aligning us with our true soul's essence and to walk a life where our soul's desire, where we're feeding and nurturing the soul, not the material. It is a big eclipse of releasing because the South Node being in Virgo and full moons are big revelations and show us what we need to let go of. So it can be really challenging sometimes. If it's a relationship that needs to be let go of, it can be very, very painful. But this month will be charged with intense energies and heightened emotions and sudden twists of fate and passions and power plays, because we do have Venus in Leo, so that kind of heightens the passionate energy of this month, of course. But the eclipse will so eclipses basically end things and bring things. Eclipses something out and invite something in new. Eclipses, you see, there's Jupiter in its exaltation, by the way, which is a really good blessing for this eclipse, which makes it extremely abundant. Honestly, the more you let go and flow during this eclipse, the less struggle, trust that it's going to take us somewhere really good. Because here is Jupiter making a beautiful angle to this eclipse. Look at that. It's trining the North Node in the moon. It's a full moon lunar eclipse with Jupiter trining it like a big light saying, this is your Dharma, this is the way to go, this is what you're made for, this will nurture your soul. Leave anything behind that isn't your authentic part of your authentic path and your authentic soul's purpose. So it can come with challenges, but these are really beautiful angles. So I'm going to say we're relieved to let these things go. We're relieved to end these chapters. We're relieved to release this noise in our life. So we're basically clearing a path that takes us in a direction that truly nourishes our soul more and puts us in our true dharmic destiny, because the two things coincide, of course. All right. So that is the first eclipse. I'm going to go into all 12 signs about that. And now let's look at how beautiful that kite goes to the eclipse. So here it is. We're at the tail of the eclipse. So basically, this is untangling that big knot because it's happening at the end degree point of Pisces, or shall we say, it's opposing Saturn at that end degree point, and it's even in the shape of a kite. And here we are with the kite on the material realm, because Virgo um, the Virgo Pisces axis is all about the spiritual versus the material, right? And the practical versus the impractical. So we're going to have this kite configuration blessing us as we let something major go that releases the kite, that releases us from our karmic entanglement. So this is like the final, shall we say, it wouldn't be final because we do have the South Node continuing in Virgo, but this being the eclipse there makes it a big release of something final because it's at 29 degrees. So it's really the end of something. So we're really wrapping an old pattern, an old cycle. Our day-to-day routines are going to completely change. Our health decisions or choices are going to change. We're going to make much more soulful aligned decisions that will improve our health. We're spiritually releasing ourselves from old paradigms and old thinkings and old thoughts, and we're changing them because we're at the end degree point and Saturn is there. So Saturn is telling us, look, we have to devote to something seriously. We have to put all our eggs in this basket and devote to it, and treat it like it's a long-term thing, because we have to align with something here that Saturn wants us to align with, but at the same time, we have to release whatever's not a part of that. And we've cleared our karmic behaviors that are causing these patterns. And so, it's like we're untangling ourselves from that karmic knot in order to begin something new that really takes us a whole new cycle, a whole new 29-year cycle. So we're really headed in a new direction here, obviously very big. Now, Jupiter again is making, and again, a very positive aspect to this eclipse. So I think these eclipses are very abundant and very auspicious for everybody. So I'm excited to go through all the 12 signs. All right. I will see you there. All right. Hi, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising. These eclipses are happening in your 5th and 11th houses. The first one on the 7th is going to be in your 5th house, which means you're going to have some sort of romantic illusion dissolve, some sort of revelation or reality. You see the truth of a superficial, or the truth in general of what our superficial relationships are, and you see who your true divine mate is, because in this year of 2025 it's a big karmic wrap up ending, and it is predicted that a lot of divine partnerships are coming together because we're starting this big new 30-year, 29-year cycle with Saturn being in Aries at the early degrees, low degrees. So we're starting big new cycle. And so this involves for you guys some sort of clearing of the way in karmic patterns in friendships and relationships. In this eclipse, you're going to see the truth. You're going to see what is real and what is not. A love affair or creative plan that was running on ego or pride is going to reach a turning point. There's going to be a breakdown in anything that is not really a part of your soul's dharmic destiny. So the universe is helping you basically to replace drama with real, genuine joy, because a lot of this being in Scorpio tends to have dramatic experiences in your relationships. So now what happens, that sort of dissolves as you step into something more authentic and more your true mate, basically. So stay open to the changes, and you will find that what remains after this eclipse is truly worth keeping. So this is also the house of creativity and intelligence. And like I said, a love life. So if you haven't, you may very well meet somebody new in these energies, your true divine mate, if you haven't already met them. And but mostly you're going to feel very inspired because you're going to have Mercury there as well, and it's going to really inspire you and give you a lot of ideas. Your mind is going to be really active and on high function. So you're going to be inspired by ideas. This is going to lead you into your joint soul contract with your divine mate, which is what that new 29-year cycle is going to be about. So, what else? This is a Jupiter ruled eclipse in your fifth house, which is going to be fantastic, super auspicious. Perhaps some new project, creative project stems that really does flow with your true dharma. You could have a child or get pregnant. It's a great time to initiate a teaching. These eclipses are about service and following your soul's dharma and then being of service and finding a way to practically align that in the reality field that you can serve through practicality. It's not just like some lofty idea out in the nowhere that doesn't make any real movement for us on the planet. So these ideas have to have a Virgo, you know, practical application and doing the day-to-day discipline work that these ideas involve in order to them for them to be of service for people. So these some sort of big idea, some creative project, Pisces over the fifth house is pretty creative. But basically you're really here to start this new eclipse is more about service rather than sort of attention. So it's a great time to teach, like I said, and share your knowledge. And you're being tested to create from your soul. The fifth house is a creation house. You could, like I said, you could get pregnant. So we're looking at something out of nothing, creation, but coming from your soul, not your ego. Let your ideals flow, and you're being asked to move from performance to purpose. So, in other words, you're being asked to move out of just going through the motions and acting or performing, because the fifth house is an acting house, so if you could be an actor, and so there's a role here, but now your motivation is to be on to follow your purpose, to send a message. Whatever your chart shows is your dharma, but this fifth house eclipse most likely puts you on a creative path or having children. So now let's go to the second eclipse. The second eclipse is happening in your 11th house in the sign of Virgo. We have the South Node there, and it's been there all year, where you've been releasing friends, groups, tribes, types of connections. And by the way, that fifth house eclipse is a very possibility of groups of friends go away, you lose a friend, or you end a relationship too. I should definitely put that in. That was that part at the beginning where I said it dissolves your illusions. You see who's real and who's not, basically, in that first eclipse. But in the second eclipse, again, you're going to see what tribe is real. There's a reason these are opposite each other. So it's like you're going to see what community really fits you. Because you got the South Node there, so you're releasing things. You're releasing people that aren't really a part of your well-being and your health, or people that cause you stress, because that's a Virgo house, or you're also really letting go of the stress around your community or people around you getting stressed and trying to sort of control how they think of you or what they think of you. That's all going to go. You're going to that fifth house with the North Node there, where you're focusing on a creative dharmic path. So you're sort of releasing what people think of you, releasing even perhaps focusing on your community or being so involved in the community. But that 11th house is also volunteering. Maybe you let go of a volunteer position and you focus more on your some sort of creative destiny that you're on. And then with that 11th house South Node, you are getting rid of, yeah, you're getting rid of two-faced people that are two-faced. So yeah, you could discover on this eclipse that a group of your friends are not really your friends, and they're backstabbing you or gossiping about you, and it could be pretty upsetting, and you release this group of people, but then this clears your slate perhaps you start a new relationship with that first eclipse in your fifth. So you now have a whole new tribe around you, new groups of people. You're clearing your life of friendships and connections that are just causing clutter in your life, and they're not actually really helping you on your path to finding groups of people and initiating new tribe when that second eclipse, a new perhaps even social media platform or a new project that's serving humanitarian, a new volunteering project, you know, mission type thing. And you perhaps, you're in the new moon there on that eclipse at the end of the month, which I'll go to more in a minute, is initiating the new groups of people that are going to come into your life that are definitely a part of your destiny. So anyway, oh, we're on the second eclipse. Sorry, I'm jumping around. So the second eclipse is going to basically, bring you goals and gains in your social circles. Now, these are blessed eclipses with that Jupiter in exaltation. So, if you have to go through an upset and stress around connections that are not, or social groups that are not part of your highest good, shall we say, or your mental health or your stress levels, you might go through that intensity, but then it's going to be free. You're liberated. You're set free from these experiences and you upgrade your circle. So let go of anything that doesn't seem to be wanting to stay with you right now. So yeah, so um yeah, so there could be, you could also reach a big goal or initiate a new goal because the 11th house is goals and dreams, things like that, and also lucky gains and wins. So you could win the lottery on this one because that Jupiter blessing this 11th, actually the fifth house is also gambling. So you might, if you are find yourself lucky in that way. I mean, I would never say go gamble, but I mean, this would be an eclipse where you could possibly have a victory. So yeah, so let's see what else. So these new beginnings that are coming in are going to support you and financially really help you reach goals. And this is the house of gains. So your social circle will be in flux during these eclipses, no doubt about it. You may pull back from certain groups of friends that you feel just don't understand you. So anyway, so yeah, you're just sort of redefining your vision. This new moon in this solar eclipse here on the second one that I'm talking about on the 21st is going perhaps gives you a vision, a new idea, a new dream, mission, project that's humanitarian that helps the world that you really feel is God's work and that's what you're here to do. So, so yeah, so you're refining your vision and you're finding your true spiritual allies and mentors and the people that feel real to you, that feel close, that you feel yourself with, that you're not anxious around, your soul tribe, basically. So, and also you're letting go of needing recognition. You're really showing up. If this is a social media transit for you and something's shifting in your social media platform and you're an influencer because the 11th house people have influencers have planets in their 11th and their 5th, you could suddenly really see a clarity of a new project you want to begin on your social media platform, and it will be very auspicious and successful. So you're really sort of moving into the service where you perhaps want to communicate the truth, reveal the truth to people, some sort of higher knowledge, higher information that liberates the people. That's what the House of Aquarius is, which is the 11th house. So yeah, so you're really in a place of finding a quiet power to sort of step forward and um, express something to the world through this 11th house in this new group or in this new tribe. And you really show up with a gift here that's something you can contribute to society, that's a new beginning here for you, that is very in alignment with what you have to offer the planet, because that fifth house is often gifts. So, you have this gift to offer people that you're really sort of going to start putting a lot of devotion behind with that Saturn in retrograde, because this most likely is connected to the big new 29-year new beginnings. And it most likely involves your true divine partner because we're hitting Pisces over that fifth house. So, yeah, because with Saturn in retrograde back in Pisces, by the way, in your fifth house, we are making big internal shifts that cause big changes that appear to be eclipse. So, even just Saturn in retrograde in your fifth house feels like an eclipse on its own. And it's because it's in retrograde, these big shifts occur because of internal change and shifts that you're making on the inside, healing and work you're doing on yourself, reflecting on your part of these problems that you're experiencing in your fifth house relationships, sort of a karmic pattern. And it most likely has something to do with getting involved with people, getting in relationships with people just because you get along and they're fun and they're not really your soul connected divine mate. You're sort of learning the difference there. All right, Scorpio. Oh, one last thing. I guess I should look at Venus and Mercury in your chart. So yeah, you're going to have Mercury throughout the month in that 11th house. So you may be very, very social, very proactive on social media, and perhaps selling a lot if you sell on social media or really networking, really getting out there. And Venus is going to join in into, but well, right now towards the end of the month, I don't have my notes. I don't know what day Venus. I moved my computer and my notes are over there. But Venus will be is in Leo in your 10th house. So perhaps you are feeling very creative and inspired, or having a passionate relationship with someone in the workforce. But Leo in your 10th house is fun at work, basically. So, and that could be connected to the new moon. Maybe you meet them at work, just so you know, in the sixth. I'm sorry, the full moon in the sixth. All right, so that pretty much wraps it all up. So, if you would like a personal reading, feel free to contact me on my website, soullevels.com. There's a booking link, and I offer tarot astrology, and I'm psychic. So I put all three together, and I am happy to be your oracle if you need. And you can also email me at madelineparker111@gmail.com to be put on my email list where I send out a monthly email astro report. All right, have a wonderful week. I mean, month. Namaste.